AITA for refusing to live with my mom. I'm 20 years old, and for most of my life, I've lived with my mom, Nadia. My parents split when I was a little kid, and for a long time, it was just the two of us. My dad, Paul, wasn't really present growing up. He'd visit here and there, maybe send a birthday card or show up for a holiday. But for most of my childhood, it was me and my mom against the world, or at least that's how it felt back then. The thing is, my mom has always been complicated. She wasn't abusive in the physical sense. She never raised a hand to me. But her moods could flip like a switch. One day she'd be telling me how proud she was of me, how I was the only good thing in her life. The next, she'd tear me down with words that still echo in my head years later. If I got a B on a test instead of an A, she'd call me lazy, a disappointment, or a failure. If I forgot to take out the trash or was late for curfew, she'd say she regretted raising me at all. Those words stung far worse than if she had slapped me. And when I cried, when I was just a kid trying to process those emotions, she'd say I was weak, dramatic, pathetic. For a long time, I believed her. I internalized it. I thought maybe she was right, that I was weak, that I was a disappointment, that if only I tried harder, maybe she'd love me in the way she was supposed to. When I turned 18, I thought things would get easier. I thought adulthood meant freedom, that maybe she'd ease up on the constant criticism. But it didn't stop. If anything, it got worse. I think part of her resented the idea of me growing up and possibly leaving her behind. Earlier this year, I hit one of the lowest points in my life. I was overwhelmed, depressed, and I didn't know how to handle it. Instead of asking for help, I started numbing myself with alcohol. I'd go out late, sometimes with people I barely knew, and I'd avoid responsibilities. My grades slipped, I missed deadlines, and I just shut down. I'm not proud of it, but I was spiraling. Instead of noticing I was in pain or asking what was going on, my mom decided to take matters into her own hands. At first, it was little things, like making comments about how I looked tired or accusing me of hiding something. Then it escalated. I noticed she was rifling through my backpack when she thought I wasn't looking. I caught her standing in my room uninvited, just staring at my desk. And then came the ultimate betrayal. I found out she had been reading my private emails. Not just snooping, she had logged into my accounts. She was reading my social media DMs, my personal conversations with friends, even my messages with my dad. I don't even know how she got my passwords, but she did. When I confronted her about it, she didn't even deny it. She said, "If you don't have anything to hide, then what's the problem?" I was shaking with anger. I told her she had no right to invade my privacy like that. She fired back with, "You live under my roof, you follow my rules. If you want privacy, then move out." That was the first time I seriously thought about leaving. But I stayed, partly because I didn't have the money, partly because I wasn't ready. Then one night, everything exploded. We got into a massive fight. She accused me of being reckless, of throwing my life away, of embarrassing her. I tried to walk away, but she blocked the doorway and kept going. I remember yelling, "Why can't you just ask me what's wrong instead of tearing me apart?" And she just sneered at me. That's when she said I was broken and beyond help. The next day, I came home from being out late, and suddenly the police were at the door. My mom had called them. She told them I was hiding dangerous substances in my room. My heart dropped. They searched everything. My drawers, my closet, my backpack, every single inch of my room. They flipped my mattress, dumped my clothes onto the floor, opened every box I own. I felt completely exposed, humiliated, degraded. They didn't find anything serious, because there wasn't anything to find. Sure, I had a few bottles hidden, but nothing illegal. Still, the damage was done. I'll never forget the way the officers looked at me, like I was some kind of criminal in my own home. When my mom came to pick me up from the station, she looked smug, like she thought she had scared me straight. I couldn't even look at her. My hands were shaking, my chest was tight, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. The next morning, I packed a bag. I didn't make some big dramatic announcement. I didn't yell or scream. I just quietly folded my clothes, shoved some essentials into a duffel, and walked out the door. I called my dad and told him I needed a place to stay. He said yes immediately. When my mom realized I was gone, the call started. At first, they were angry. She accused me of being cruel, ungrateful, disrespectful. She said after everything she had done for me, this was how I repaid her. Then the guilt trips came. She said she was only trying to protect me, that she called the police out of fear for my safety, that she was saving me from myself. But how do you save someone by humiliating them, by destroying their trust, by turning their own home into a prison? She's still calling. She leaves voicemails where she's sobbing, begging me to come back. Then the next voicemail, she's cursing me out, telling me I've abandoned her. It's like a cycle, sweetness, then venom. And the worst part? She's trying to guilt my dad too. She's telling him he's stealing me from her, that he has no right to take me in when he wasn't there during my childhood. For once, though, my dad is standing his ground. He told her I'm an adult now and I get to choose where I live. Still, the guilt eats at me. She raised me. She was there when no one else was. But at the same time, she betrayed me in a way I can't just forgive. I don't feel safe under her roof anymore. I don't feel like her house is my home. I know she thinks I'm being cruel by staying away, but to me, it feels like survival. I can't go back to living under her control, not after the lies, the snooping, the police, the humiliation. 2 weeks later, things spiraled in a way I wasn't prepared for. My mom began sending sending me long Facebook messages every single night, almost like clockwork. At first, they were dripping with apologies. She wrote things like, "I didn't mean to hurt you. I panicked. I thought I was saving you from yourself. I was scared you'd throw your life away like your father did." Reading those words made me pause for a second because, for a moment, I wondered if she actually understood the damage she caused. But then I remembered, if she truly understood, she wouldn't have called the police on her own child in the first place. When I didn't respond, the tone of her messages changed. The apologies vanished, replaced with venom. She started accusing me of betraying her. "You've always wanted him more. Don't think I didn't notice. You were never grateful for what I did for you. He disappears for years, and now you're running into his arms like he's some kind of hero." The words hit me like knives, but I stayed silent. Then she blocked me, only to unblock me the very next morning and send even longer messages, pages of text, oscillating between begging me to forgive her and calling me a selfish, ungrateful child. Meanwhile, life with my dad wasn't exactly peaceful either. He was trying his best, cooking dinner, asking about my classes, making space for me in his apartment. But I could tell he didn't know how to handle the weight of it all. One evening, he sat me down and said gently, "She's your mom. I know she's hurt you, but maybe just answer one message. Just hear her out. Sometimes ignoring only makes things worse." I stared at him, and all I could think was that he didn't get it. He'd never been the one to live under her roof, to flinch every time she shifted moods. The thought of opening up a conversation with her made my stomach twist like I was preparing for another attack. Just when I thought I could handle her silence by ignoring her, she found a new way to get to me. Out of nowhere, my younger cousin Leah texted me late at night. She said my mom had called her in tears, telling her I'd abandoned her and left her all alone without explanation. Leah didn't know what to believe. She asked me, "Is it true you just packed up and left without even giving her a chance?" She sounded so broken. I just sat there staring at the message, my hands shaking. It wasn't enough that my mom was harassing me privately. Now she was dragging other people into it, twisting the story until she looked like the poor victim and I looked like the heartless one. It crushed me because Leah has always been more like a little sister than a cousin. I didn't want her to think I was cruel. And then it snowballed. I found out my mom had been calling my aunt and even my grandmother, telling them bits and pieces of her version of events. Suddenly, I was getting texts from relatives asking if I was okay, but their questions always had this undertone of judgment, like they thought I was overreacting, like maybe I should just go back home and let it go. The worst part? My mom's words echoed in my head more than I wanted to admit. The way she framed it, that I had chosen my dad over her, not at me, because in her eyes, maybe I did. And even though I knew I had every right to walk away, I couldn't shake the guilt. It feels like no matter what I do, she finds a way to make me look like the villain. And every time I think about reaching out to defend myself, I freeze, because I know one wrong word will only feed her narrative. It's like I'm trapped in this game I never agreed to play, and she's the only one who can't lose. Last night, I finally did what I swore I wouldn't do. I picked up one of her calls. It was a mistake, one I can't take back. The second I said hello, I heard her breath catch, and then she launched straight into sobs so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. At first, I thought maybe this time would be different, that maybe the tears meant she was finally ready to have a real conversation. But within seconds, the crying shifted into yelling. Her voice cracked as she screamed, "You're destroying this family. Do you have any idea what you've done to me? Everyone at work knows." They whisper behind my back. They laugh because my own child ran away from home. Do you understand how humiliating that is for me? Her words hit like a slap. Somehow it wasn't about what I had gone through, but about how she was being judged. I tried to keep my voice calm, tried to tell her that all I wanted was space, that the night she called the police shattered something in me that wasn't so easily repaired. But she cut me off instantly, her voice rising until it was almost a shriek. "Don't you dare twist this on me. I did what I had to do. I was protecting you, and now you've betrayed me for him." The venom in her tone when she said him made my chest tighten. I tried again, desperate to explain. "Mom, it's not about choosing dad over you. It's about needing time to feel safe. That night broke my trust." She didn't let me finish. "So you'd rather live with the man who abandoned you than the mother who raised you? Do you know how that makes me look? Do you even care?" Her voice was raw, shaking with fury, and for a moment I thought she might actually calm down after getting it out. But instead, the silence on her end stretched so long that I opened my mouth to speak. And that's when she hissed the words that made my stomach drop. "If you walk away from me now, don't ever come back." Then she hung up. No warning, just the flat tone of a disconnected line. I sat there in my dad's living room, the phone still pressed to my ear like I couldn't believe it had actually happened. My dad came out of the kitchen when he saw my face. I told him what she said, and he immediately shook his head and muttered, "She's bluffing. She doesn't mean it. She'll calm down." But the weight of those words was already crushing me, because whether she meant them or not, she said them, and that's something you can't unsay. An hour later, it got worse. My inbox pinged, and there it was, an email from her. The subject line was just one word: goodbye. I should have deleted it. I should have walked away. But of course, I opened it. 3 full pages, no paragraphs, sentences, just a wall of words that bled together. In it, she told me I had chosen a stranger over her. She said she sacrificed her life for me, that she bled and suffered to raise me, and now I was spitting in her face. The email ended with a sentence that froze my hands on the keyboard. If you are not back in this house before the end of the month, consider yourself dead to me. My dad insists it's all manipulation, that she's lashing out because she feels like she's losing control. But hearing your own mother write that you're dead to her is not something you just brush off. I couldn't sleep last night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that subject line again, goodbye. And the worst part? This morning, my cousin Leah texted me again. She said mom forwarded her the same email, as if to prove to the rest of the family how heartless I was being. Leah didn't know what to say except, I think she really means it this time. This morning, I woke up to a flood of notifications, dozens of them. My stomach dropped before I even checked, because deep down, I already knew. My mom had gone public. She wrote this huge status on Facebook, paragraphs long, about how she had a child who betrayed their own blood, chose lies over love, and abandoned the very person who sacrificed everything to raise them. She never said my name, but it was so obvious it was about me that even people I hadn't spoken to in years were tagging each other in the comments. The replies were exactly what you'd expect. Distant aunts, cousins, her old co-workers. Everyone was piling in with, stay strong. Nadia, kids are ungrateful these days. Or, don't worry, they'll come crawling back when the world breaks them. Some people even wrote, at least you still have one good daughter, which made me sick because I knew they were talking about my sister, Maya. The most humiliating part? People who don't even know the full story, neighbors, church acquaintances, friends of friends, were suddenly treating my pain like community gossip. It felt like my private life had been cracked open for everyone to gawk at, and I was painted as this selfish villain. My phone didn't stop buzzing all morning. Messages from cousins I barely talked to. Is it true you just abandoned your mom? Others tried to be more diplomatic. You know she only loves you, right? She's just hurt. Even worse, some outright attacked me, saying things like, you'll regret this when she's gone. The only person who actually stood by me was Maya. She sent me this quiet text, don't let her guilt trip you. I see what she's doing. It's not fair. That one message felt like a lifeline, but it also scared me, because now I know if Maya pushes back too much, she's going to end up on the receiving end of all of mom's anger too. By the afternoon, things escalated even more. My mom didn't stop at Facebook. She called my dad's landline 3 times in a row, leaving these long, emotional voicemails. The first one was her crying, begging, saying she didn't understand how her own child could humiliate her in front of the entire family. The second was her screaming, accusing my dad of poisoning me and stealing her child away. The third was the worst. Her voice was cold and steady when she said, if my child thinks they can erase me, then they should know I can erase them too. Hearing those voicemails broke something inside me. It wasn't just guilt anymore. It was fear. I couldn't help but think, what if she actually means it? What if she cuts me off forever? Or worse, what if she shows up here and causes a scene? That night, I sat in the kitchen with my dad, and we argued for the first time since I moved in. He kept insisting I should reach out one more time, just to calm things down, just to take the temperature down. But I couldn't even believe he was saying that after hearing her messages. I told him, you don't get it. You didn't grow up with her moods. You didn't hear the things she used to say to me. He went quiet, but then said softly, she's still your mother, and you only get one. I snapped at him. I said, she may be my mother, but that doesn't mean she gets to destroy me. She already has, over and over. We both sat in silence after that, and I could feel how disappointed he was, but I couldn't take it back. Later that evening, things took another turn. My cousin Leah, again, messaged me. She said, your mom told everyone at dinner that you blocked her because you're ashamed of your boyfriend and don't want her involved in your life anymore. Is that true? I wanted to throw my phone across the room. It wasn't enough for her to air my business publicly. Now she was twisting the story to make me look like some liar hiding secrets. I didn't respond to Leah. I couldn't, because no matter what I say, it feels like mom is always 5 steps ahead, spinning the story in her favor. I've blocked my mom on every platform now. Facebook, Instagram, even her number on my phone. But I know her. She'll find another way to reach me. A letter in the mail, showing up at my dad's doorstep, calling my workplace, something. She always does. And that's what terrifies me most. This isn't over. Not even close. What I do know is this. No matter how much she begs, screams, or manipulates, I cannot go back to living with her. Not after this. Not after she dragged my private life into the spotlight and turned me into the villain in my own family's story. But the weight of being the bad child in everyone's eyes, that's something I'm still trying to figure out how to carry.
You are not the AITA here. What you went through was extreme. Your mother's actions crossed every boundary. Reading your private messages, rifling through your belongings, and even calling the police were not signs of care, they were control and betrayal. Walking away quietly and finding safety with your dad was the right, responsible choice. This isn't about choosing one parent over the other. It's about protecting yourself from repeated violations and emotional manipulation. Her guilt-tripping, public posts, and attempts to involve relatives are tactics to maintain control control, not love. Being painted as the villain in her story is unfair, but it doesn't define your actions or character. Even when you try to engage with her, her threats and dramatic messages proved her concern was conditional, not genuine. Your decision to set boundaries, prioritize mental health, and reclaim your autonomy is entirely justified. In situations like this, survival isn't cruel, it's necessary. Keep standing firm and protecting your peace. Before we jump into the next story, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know your favorite part in the comments.
AITA for refusing to let my brother stay in my apartment after family chaos. I'm 21, and my name is Luca. My older sister is Clara, 26, my younger sister is Nina, 19, and my older brother is Diego, 24. A few months ago, our family went through a massive upheaval. My father, Daniel, made a series of terrible investments that left us without the house we had all grown up in. One evening, he called a family meeting and announced bluntly that the house was gone, and we all needed to figure out our own living arrangements. There was no discussion, no gradual plan, just this sudden reality. Things were complicated further by my younger sister Nina. She had been in a serious car accident, and while she survived, she sustained injuries that left her temporarily immobile. My parents immediately mortgaged what was left of the family assets to pay for her treatments. Seeing her in the hospital every day, helpless and in pain, was unbearable. I visited as often as I could, but I also had freelance work to maintain, and I couldn't just drop everything. Clara, my older sister, became the primary caregiver. She moved in with Nina and managed appointments, medications, and day-to-day care. Diego, my older brother, contributed little beyond complaining. He had always been the golden child, everyone's favorite, but in this crisis, he retreated into his anger and resentment. He even started a crowdfunding page to help the family, but it felt performative rather than genuine. I contributed what I could, thousands of dollars from my freelance earnings, but that didn't seem to matter to anyone. Meanwhile, I had just moved into a small apartment on my own. I pay $2,800 a month in rent, and it barely leaves room for furniture or savings. I live completely day to day, relying on freelance clients for income. My apartment is minimal: a mattress on the floor, a chair, a small desk, and a few kitchen essentials. But it's mine, and for the first time in my life, I feel some measure of independence. Then came Diego's situation. His partner left him abruptly, taking over the house they shared together, along with all of his possessions. Now, he was left with nowhere to go. He turned to our family for support, demanding shelter and food, and everyone assumed I'd take him in, even though I barely have enough for myself. He showed up at Clara's apartment multiple times, furious and agitated, hurling accusations and threats, insisting he couldn't live like this on the street. I made it clear to him that I could not accommodate him. I told him I live day to day, that I cannot risk my mental health by allowing constant negativity into my small space, and that my finances do not allow for anyone else. He didn't take it well. Diego began calling me nonstop, leaving messages on WhatsApp, Facebook, and even texting Clara and Nina to pressure me. He accused me of being selfish, uncaring, and cruel. What hurt most was the family's reaction. Clara tried to mediate, but she also sided with me on the need for boundaries. Nina, still recovering, couldn't fully understand the financial strain, but she sympathized. Daniel, our father, barely acknowledged my struggles at all. He seemed to expect me to sacrifice my stability because of family loyalty. My mother, who has always tried to keep peace by favoring Diego, subtly implied I should be nicer to him, and that guilt weighed on me. I feel stuck. On one hand, Diego is my brother, and part of me wants to help him. On the other hand, letting him move in would destroy the little independence I've built. I don't have a couch for him. I barely have enough for myself, and his anger and bitterness would make my home toxic. I've tried to explain all of this, but he interprets it as betrayal, as though I don't care about family at all. I've blocked him on social media and set strict boundaries. I haven't slept well for weeks. My freelance work suffers when he calls at all hours, and the stress is eating at me. I want to help my family, but I also need to survive, both mentally and financially. I'm constantly asking myself, AITA for refusing to let my brother stay with me? Am I wrong to prioritize my stability over his immediate needs, even if that makes me look cold to everyone else?
Luca, you are not the AITA here. You're juggling the aftermath of a financial disaster, supporting a recovering sibling, and carving out a tiny but crucial piece of independence. Diego's entitled demands don't erase your right to protect your mental health or your precarious finances. Family loyalty doesn't require self-destruction. Your generosity already shows money, time, and care, but he wants your space too, which you simply cannot give. Boundaries aren't betrayal, they're survival. If anything, expecting a small apartment with no spare resources to shelter someone volatile is unreasonable. Prioritize yourself. You've earned that small patch of stability, and it doesn't make you cruel. Diego's bitterness is his burden, not yours. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments and let us know which one was your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out AITA for skipping cousin's wedding over boyfriend. Click here to watch it now.